My husband was having some heart problems, and we knew that. We found out that he needed an emergency pacemaker. They went through a lot of different possibilities as to what was going on. Some of them, best case scenario, some of them that statistically didn't seem survivable. Through this and what's gone on, I really now appreciate the fact that emotions can exist together. Like, I'm very grateful that things went well, that it was the best case scenario, but that does not immediately dissipate all of the emotions, the overwhelming emotions that happened. And so, like, you can be extremely grateful. You can be extremely grateful. I mean, it's like, to correlate it to holidays, you can be extremely grateful to get to share the holidays with your whole family and still overwhelmed.
Consider yourself hugged. We are Tami and Michelle, and your weekly hug starts right now. We ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah, me too. Okay, everyone, I'm going to put a sound effect in here. Michelle's back.
So happy to be back.
I know. We missed you very much. Is everything in your world like settling a bit?
It's calming. Yeah, definitely something I'll talk about today. So I don't know do you want me to go ahead and just like talk about it now, or just kind of talk about it more when we're...
Whatever you want. Totally up to you.
I'll incorporate it into what we're gonna talk about.
Okay. I know it's hard to decide because there's so many things to talk about. Well, we are starting a holiday peace project. So last week I decided that on my personal TikTok channel that I was going to do from now through the end of the year to take like some of the things that I and we talk about, but apply them specifically to the holidays. And so Michelle and I decided to do this holiday peace project on the podcast as well. So from now until the end of the year, I don't even know how many weeks that is, but we want to talk about all things holiday, all things women, all things mental, emotional well-being. So today is a little bit of an overview, but before we jump in, I did the sleep episode last week, and I told everyone that, let's see, what did I say? I said during the podcast that if you shared like a sleep story or tip or whatever, that I would give away, and I think I can do this digitally, but I have these learning to sleep CDs that I recorded years ago. And then I did it on my TikTok channel, and I said, okay, my TikTok people, this is what's going to happen on the podcast, but I'm giving you a heads up. And so several comments, but I just wanted to announce our winner is actually off TikTok, and her name is Olivia. So yay, Olivia. I will contact you. I don't even know, Olivia, if you watch the podcast, but I will contact you on TikTok. So I'm very, very excited. And I don't know where we are with the mug giveaway. Michelle, do you?
No, but the mugs are so nice. They're so cute.
I know. We'll have to talk to our social media person and see where we are in the mug giveaway. So, okay. So sleep is all about rest and peace. And that's what we all kind of miss sometimes over the holidays, but what we really want. So yeah, this is probably a great time, Michelle, for you to, do you think, talk about what's been going on? And
oh yeah, so I don't know, did you share anything before?
I did not, because
Okay.
I felt it was your...
Yeah. So my husband was having some heart problems, and we knew that, but one of the doctor's appointments we went to, we found out that he needed like an emergency pacemaker surgery. And so we went to the doctor on Thursday. They scheduled the surgery for the following Tuesday. So it was fairly quick
so fast.
to get ready for. So we went, did the procedure. It went well. But then he developed pericarditis, which is inflammation of the lining of the heart. It was extremely painful. We didn't know what it was at first, so we called his medical team. They advised us to go back to the ER. We went to the ER where at the same hospital where we had had the surgery. They immediately did a whole bunch of tests, and then we waited for 7 hours in the lobby
Gosh.
to see what was going on, and that's a story within itself. At hour 7, I started asking some questions and discovered that they had not actually looked at any of the test results that they ran when we first came in.
I love how
And
you said you started. Did you think I wasn't going to call you? Started asking some questions. Y'all know how
Mhm.
calm Michelle is.
Yes,
It takes a lot to get her upset.
yes. So after they kind of shared with me that no one had looked at those labs, I kind of went back through it with the person. I said, so we were told to come to the ER because it might be an emergency. You did all kinds of tests to see if it was an emergency. And then no one looked at the tests to see if
To
it was an
see if it was
actual emergency. So we've been here 7 hours and no one has looked at these. And so then we had a room within 3 minutes. And I did not state that nearly as calmly as I did just right then. It was very animated.
and those are yes, that's what you should have done. You were taking care of your husband.
And so then they went through a lot of different possibilities as to what was going on. Some of them, best case scenario, some of them that statistically didn't seem survivable. So it was a long 24-hour period. It did turn out to be pericarditis, which was one of the best case scenarios, even though extremely painful.
Yeah.
There's a treatment for it, and he's been on that treatment since then and is doing much better now. But a lot of ups and down, emotions, and I know a lot of us have gone through that, like that process where, you know, emotions are just yanked up, yanked down. There's just a lot going on, particularly with medical emergencies like that.
Yeah.
You're not sleeping, right? You're there. You
Right.
go long periods of time without sleep. It's just there are moments where it becomes very difficult. I mean, to care for yourself, and that's just the way it is in that moment.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and I'm so glad he's doing better. I mean, Michelle and I obviously stayed in touch through all of this, and it was, yeah, it was a little scary for quite a while. But as you're talking about it, especially as it relates to like emotions and self-care, not sleeping when there's a crisis like that, or not taking care of yourself, well, that's what you do. I mean,
Right, right. There's not a choice. That's what you do in that moment.
so, but when it comes to like holiday things, yes, it's busier. Yes, there's more going on. But do we have any choice in getting our peace back? And you talked about when we just jumped on here, you talked a little bit about like the emotions and what we're feeling. Can you go back to that? Because it was really good.
Yeah, one of the things what I shared when Tammy and I first started talking is like I through this and what's gone on really now appreciate the fact that emotions can exist together. Like I'm very grateful that things went well, that was the best case scenario, but that does not immediately dissipate all of the emotions, the overwhelming emotions that happened. And so like you can be extremely grateful. You can be extremely grateful. I mean, it's like to correlate it to holidays. You can be extremely grateful to get to share the holidays with your whole family and still overwhelmed at the aspect of everything that's going on. And I think I definitely appreciated through this process acknowledging both, not trying to shove one emotion and
Yeah.
only look at one. I think you sometimes you just have to feel it.
And, next week we're going to talk about a little bit about comparison. But I think about a phrase that we tend to use called at least, you know? So like for for me, I do a lot of webinars from right here. The podcast is from right here. It's all right here. And so I've heard if sometimes I'll express frustrations about something and people have said to me, "Well, at least you get to work from home." And it relates to everything, like medical, holidays, your life. That's true, and I'm very grateful for that. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to experience frustration. I'm grateful to have our big family, and there's some confusion and difficulties when it comes to that. So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's such a great.
absolutely. And as we move into talking about like finding peace, joy, all of that in the holidays, because that's what we all want. But at the same
Yeah.
time, we also recognize that there are individuals who are going through things that may not be something that can happen over the holidays. And if this isn't the holiday and you're going through something really hard, that's okay too. It's okay to feel that and, you know, have those loved ones around you and do what needs to be done.
I was just thinking we have somewhat of an outline of the topics we want to do, but I think we need to move. Like, we'll go ahead and do comparison next time because it relates so well. But I think the next one we need to do so that we do it early enough to help people is we need to talk about grief over the holidays. And you have such a powerful story when it comes to that. So,
I think that, yeah, and it's that for so many people is a part because the holidays are when we typically spend with family, and when we lose people, it does become a little more pronounced during those times.
yeah. And, I think about like with our stories and what we think about over the holidays. I think about growing up. Like, what's your favorite holiday? And I'll share mine. You all think about yours, but it's Thanksgiving. And my grandmother made it so special. And she did everything. She cooked everything and just being there and smelling everything. She was the stable part in my life. But as I began to get older and have my own family, I did everything. And then I was getting frustrated and overwhelmed, especially when Tim and I married. And the biggest one we had was like 35 people. And it occurred to me, but I'm embarrassed to tell you only recently, yeah, she did everything, but there were four of us. Four. And even then, it's a lot. But what made me think that I could do it for 35 without I don't think I was experiencing multiple positive and negative emotions at that point, Michelle. I think I was just completely overwhelmed. And you made a point about, do you remember when we were?
Yeah, so it's so common for us to just take it on ourselves, whatever that is, the workload, the emotions, and not ask for help or not reach out. And we feel like that's the way it's supposed to be because we saw like all the women in our lives, like growing up, doing that. But it's okay to ask for help when we need help. Or, it's fun to have more than one person cooking in the kitchen with you. And yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that can be
Yes.
a lot of fun.
My favorite story about that is going to a friend of ours' house years ago, and they had a very beautiful, huge house, kind of well known in the music industry. Um, And I said, we got there for a holiday thing. I think it was a New Year's thing. And I said, can I help? And she's like, yeah, chop these vegetables. And it made me, helping each other strengthens your bonds. And it also shows that you're mature and wise and confident enough to accept help and ask for help.
Well, and
So,
I think there's a difference between hope and expectation. And
hmm,
so many times we have expectations of what holidays or different events are
mm-hmm.
supposed to be. And then there's a lot of negative emotion if that expectation isn't met. If we change it to, well, I hope it's this way, but maybe it'll turn out that way, maybe not. How often when we envision an expectation does it turn out exactly the way we're
Always.
expecting?
Just kidding.
You must
Well,
be a lot better at planning your
no,
expectations than me.
it could be sometimes if your expectations are kind of low.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding.
But
Well,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
no, that was all I was going to say is like when the expectation, like our expectations for ourselves and what it's like, we don't even know that that matches our families. Like this year, I'm not ashamed to say, like, we're going to order. We've already talked about it. We're going to order Thanksgiving dinner. My sister's invited.
Woohoo.
My son will be here. And it's just okay. Like everybody understands. Like that is like if, you know, no one was like, "Oh no, I'm so disappointed that you all, with everything going on, aren't gonna cook a big
Right.
dinner." I mean, and so like, who is it placing these big expectations on the event? Is it our family? Is it us? I mean, it's
And
hard to know.
we often don't even know, like we think that what we're doing is making everybody happy, but maybe it's not. I remember using my grandmother's china, which I do sometimes still, but it's very special to me, but it had to be hand washed. So we have, I think there were 20 plates, plus we have to use others, like plates and bowls and cups. And so after it was all over, I would have to wash all that. And then everybody else felt like they had to help. Well, the year I remember we did paper plates, pretty paper plates, it was like nobody cared.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, like thinking back, like if, there were times growing up where my mom cooked and the food was wonderful. She did an amazing job, but there were times where it was very, very stressful for her. And it seemed like it was very, very stressful for her.
Right. She
And
didn't
then,
hide it.
yes. And then other times where we did things simpler and she really enjoyed it and had fun. And those are the best memories, not the ones where the food was amazing, but she was super stressed.
And upset. And yeah, and I think we've all done that as women. And then we have this expectation that people will feel bad because we're mad and they don't. And then they don't help and we don't ask for help. And it's crazy.
Like, is it the expectation that they should offer to help? Are we hoping to help or?
But then they do help and we say no. So
Or
I
we
don't
don't
know.
like the way, there are times when don't like the way they help, but.
Yes. I think both of us, I hope the plan is for us as women to mature in all of this. And I know I'm definitely so much better. I've given up so much of that. And I just want the peace and the joy.
Yeah,
And,
and
and I
I
think you have too.
yeah, I've learned to participate in the fun things I plan. Like I love
Ooh,
Christmas. Christmas is my favorite holiday.
that's your favorite.
And a family will come. My sister usually comes. We build gingerbread houses. We play games. I'm going to use my spinning wheel that I got like yours for us to do different games at Christmas. And I plan it, but I also participate in it. So
I
I
love
have
that.
just as much fun as they do. Yeah.
And that kind of actually one thing we wanted to talk about is like we don't know, you listener or watcher, like what you celebrate. And so I had this because we call it the holiday season, and we'll include this. We're going to have a download. I'm not sure what all is going to be on it, but so I was just looking up and reading a little bit, like what's in the holiday season and what's it about. And that's we're going to have a list of questions in a minute to really ask yourself, like what do I want? What's it about? Why are we celebrating? And so there were one, two, three, four, like five. So Thanksgiving, which is the fourth Thursday in November, and it's about the harvest and gratitude and being together and eating. And so in the chart, there's a place for you to put what does it mean to you? And then I'll read all these and Michelle can fill in. And then Hanukkah, which varies in November and December, and it's about finding light in the darkness. It's about faith. And then Christmas, of course, December 25th, the birth of Jesus, hope, giving, joy. Kwanzaa, which I didn't know much about, is December 26th through January 1st. It's about community, creativity, shared purpose. And then New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, December 31st, January 1st, about renewal, reflection, and new beginnings. I wrote some notes about what it means to me. I'm not going to go through it all, but it's very helpful to really know what you want out of the holiday. Did you have anything about that, Michelle?
Yeah, I mean, that's such a good point. Like, to me, Thanksgiving means family.
Yes.
And so, like, it doesn't mean food has to be a certain way or the everything surrounding it. It's about family.
It's about family. Me too. The thing about having peace over the holidays is it has to be intentional. And we talked a lot about this when we did oh, what's the certification we did? The positive
Positive
psychology.
psychology. Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you don't, this sounds preachy and scoldy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. But when we put these for you, we hope that you'll participate in some of the things we ask you to do because it's an intentional thing. And for me, and maybe for Michelle too, if I'm not intentional, I will allow my peace to be robbed. And I don't want that. I just don't want it. Okay, we want to give you a couple of fun facts, a little bit about mental health, some questions to ask yourself, and then ending off on some tips and trivia. I'm only going to read two of the interesting facts, like trivia, because we're going to post the rest of them in the show notes. And this will be definitely a mug giveaway. Like, thank you. I was going to say Vanna, but that's not true. It was the Price is Right, like, pointers, right?
Vanna did that too.
Oh, she did? With prizes?
Yes. Well, no, with the puzzle, she would go.
Oh, yes, she would go with the puzzle.
Yeah.
Okay, Vanna. So, I don't know if you looked at these, but which fast food chain here in America, or started here in America, is a tradition in Japan?
I did look at it, so is it even fair for me to say what the answer
Yeah, go
is?
ahead.
KFC.
KFC. And then the first company to use Santa in an ad was,
I don't remember that one.
well, do you have a guess? When you think about the
Sears and
holidays.
Roebuck.
Oh, that's a good guess. It was Coca-Cola.
Oh, okay. They still use like
I know.
Santa. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we have, I don't know how many, maybe 15, just fun trivia questions. So feel free to use them in your party. Okay, so the good and the bad statistics. Michelle might have more to chime in on this one, but the not so goods, like 9 in 10 Americans say they experience some level of stress during the holidays. I don't find that shocking. Do you?
No.
Like, who is that 10th person? I don't know. They're very wise, very mature. 64% with a mental health condition say symptoms worsen this time of year. Do you find that to be true for you? Like for yourself?
Grief. That's the part that will show up around the holidays. But I kind of know and expect that. Like I've mentioned on here before, I've lost both my parents and my brother. So it's like in my family of origin, it's me and my sister still.
Yeah.
So I do remember more or think more about like the times we spent together on the holidays around this time. So I would say in that regards, I also like time change can affect my mood.
Oh, yeah. So I don't find this surprising. You know, my main issue that I struggle with is anxiety. So for sure, it heightens. And I try to do things to help that, but it's going to heighten some. And then top stressors, finances, and the word you used, family expectations. And that's why we're doing this series, right? But on the hopeful side, okay, everybody, kindness boosts your happiness up to 20%. That could be volunteering. That could be saying something nice to a person at a checkout line when they're struggling. 20% is not insignificant. And then people who laugh more during gatherings have 30% lower stress hormones. And I bet when you're doing the gingerbread houses,
We laugh a lot. Yeah. We always laugh a lot. We make that a point. We do the pajamas. We do all of the things that traditions that we decided to create.
And then you said this too, Michelle, kind of 78% say their favorite holiday memories come from connection, not perfection.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked the question on TikTok is why do you want people to love you? Why do you want people to want to be around you? Is it because everything is perfect or because you make them feel welcome? And then finally, these are just a few. Even small things like lighting a candle or writing one note of gratitude can calm your nervous system. So it's doable. It's absolutely doable. What do you think? What do you see maybe in clinic, or do you have any experiences that kind of back up people struggle?
Well, I think that that's a complex question because
Yeah.
like everybody, I mean, there are differences. There are definitely people who've had negative experiences, and so therefore, like going back into that negative experience environment can cause some different things, mood, anxiety, stress wise,
Yeah.
and so that can be a thing. And so like we haven't really talked about like sometimes the tone of the holidays is also set by like the emotional health of the individuals that are there. Do you
That's
understand?
true. Yes, I
Do you
do.
understand what I mean by that? Yeah.
I do understand what you mean by that.
Right, right. And so like part of really having peace in the holidays is like having peace within yourself regardless of how the behavior, the emotions of everybody around you are going.
Agreed. Yes. Okay, then our last big thing, and then we just want to finish up letting you know about um, the trivia. We have some games to recommend, but some questions. This will be in your download. I put 5. Number 1, what do I want to feel this season? And I think Michelle's point is so good. You can feel more than one thing. So just because you want to feel joy and you want to feel peace, it doesn't mean you won't feel the other things, but at least it's nice to focus on what maybe it's calm. Think about what you struggle with. Like if you're always running around and you're trying to do all the things, maybe the word you want is calm,
Well, and,
you
and
know?
prepare yourself for this situation. And when I say that, I'm going to use the example of I love everything about Christmas. I love when like the mall decorates for Christmas. I love Christmas shopping for people. I love all of that. But I also have to expect that when I go shopping, that there is going to be a ton of people. I'm going to have to wait probably for a parking space. And, you know, being around that ton of people can be uncomfortable, but at the same time, like when I go into it knowing this is just what this day is going to be like, it's not nearly as stressful as if I don't recognize that going in.
And yeah, that's funny because like my pastor, he loves Christmas. Even he loves going to like the malls and there being hordes of people. He loves it. So
And some people do, like
yeah,
some people
yeah,
do. I don't like it seems like the last few years oftentimes people are very frustrated. So you do,
yeah.
kind of get into situations where if you accidentally bump into someone, somebody's super upset about it. So you kind of have to like, it's not everybody is there with the understanding that, oh, I'm
Right.
going to have to wait a minute. Or, I mean, yes, you got to have to prepare for that as well.
I saw a thing in the news this morning. Uh, it was a video at McDonald's, and it was a customer took her lid off her coffee and threw it on the employee, and the reason was she had to wait for an hour and she was mad, scalding hot coffee.
Oh
So,
no.
so we want to. You're right, prepare ahead of time, but it's important to know, like you said, we're not surrounded by people who prepare ahead of time. And
Well,
that's
and
why we're
I
here.
I was like the Thanksgiving after my mom died. My mom died in January of 2014, and that Thanksgiving, my sister came to my house. My dad was still alive at that time, but we chose to come here. Just it was too hard to kind of be in that area because hers was unexpected. So we went Black Friday shopping. I don't remember if it was after Thanksgiving, if they were still at that time doing Black Friday shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Like there for a minute, like stores opened Thursdays, like Thursday
Uh-huh.
evenings.
Yes, yes.
I think a lot of them stopped that, but we were at Walmart Black Friday shopping and we saw a fight. This is in Cool Springs, Tennessee. We saw a fight over a suitcase.
Wow.
Yeah. And at that point, I was just like, okay, my sister had something she was looking for. And my niece was pretty young. I'm like, I'm going to take Ryan. We're going to go to the like little cafe and you just come find us there whenever you're done. Cause it's just, I don't know what's going on here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Some choices, which takes us to number two. So one is, what do I want to feel? Number two, what will help me experience that feeling?
Okay.
So if it's, joy, peace, comfort, love, and actually writing some of those things out. And I think you kind of said that, what do I want to feel? And then one of the things you could do is prepare before you go, remove yourself from a situation if you need to, just really preparing. And number three, where does commercial pressure distract me? And commercial pressure can be literally like being marketed to, but it can also be, getting on Instagram or Facebook, or where do I get distracted by what the world says? Does that happen to you?
That's not a me thing. I have many me things, but that's not really something that bothers me or that I don't necessarily feel the need to compete
Mm-hmm.
with anything. Yeah.
I will say the one, so it's, and compare and compete is part of it, but also feeling pressure to do something. And I know if there's anything that gets to me with the holiday commercials and things that you see is any sort of like things with blended families or just different things that might make me think about any of my shortcomings as a parent. So I have to be careful about that. So it's not about when there's a commercial about a new car or you deserve that new car. And I'm like, well, I don't have a new car. It makes me mad more than anything. Like, no, I don't deserve a new car,
Well, and with that said, I will say that like there are times throughout the holidays if I see something about like this big family thing or people going to their parents for the holidays, I can feel sad about that. Like
Yeah.
that grief thing kind of tying back in. I mean, not to where it's like disabling or anything like that, but I
But
will feel that emotion. Yeah.
it could take away from your peace
Yeah.
and distract you. Yes. So recognizing it. And then I said five, but there's four. What one change could bring me more peace this year? And I know for me, it's going to be making some better financial decisions because we have so many people and more financial slash the real meaning of the holiday decisions. That's mine. How about you?
I think obviously we talk a lot about gratitude. So kind of keeping the balance between gratitude, but also feeling what I'm feeling at the moment. We've gone through some difficult things this year. And so we can be very grateful, but it's still at times, make decisions differently based on that.
Yeah. Well, we'll put some examples. We'll put all of these tools for you. And the final thing we wanted to just mention before we close with all the normal things we do is just we're going to put a list of games that can bring people together and have fun. Now, the thing about games, they don't have to be, the ones we're going to list are some things that you buy and some that you can just do. But think about, like Michelle, a game, I mean, even decorating, putting gingerbread houses together, but anything that allows you to laugh, to bond, and it forms memories. Pictionary and even karaoke. My family doesn't know this, but we're doing karaoke this year.
Oh,
I cannot wait. All those things are very, very fun for me. Do you have any kind of favorite?
So we have a game. I didn't realize we were going to talk about this, or I would have found the name. But we have a game that we got when we all took a beach trip to Florida together, and it is where there's like four different cards, and you act out on the card for your team what it is, and it falls. You have a certain amount of seconds, and the card falls. And so you get points based on that. And that we have had a ton of fun
The
with that.
card falls. You mean it's on a timer?
Yeah. So once
Oh,
once your time is up for that card, it falls and you don't get the points for it if you haven't guessed it. And then it moves on to the next, and then you have to move on to the next one.
well, find out what that is. We'll put it in the
Okay.
show notes.
All right.
Give us a link. I will get that.
It's fun.
That
It's
sounds
a lot of fun. We like it.
that sounds like a lot of fun. So we'll put a list of those. Today we wanted to sort of talk a little bit about mental health, talk a little bit about what the holidays mean, give you some thoughts and questions to ask yourself, and then give you some ideas for fun. And so that, other than just talking about the mug and the trivia and all that stuff and just closing up, I don't have anything else for now. Do you?
Nope.
Okay, so this is important during this season to grab the downloads, and you're going to want, go ahead, do it, Michelle, the mug. You're going to want the mug. And so let's see how many. I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How many do we have? We have 18 trivia questions. And so just answer one or more than one, and then we'll do a drawing and we will give away a mug.
They're great size.
Yeah, they're perfect. They're perfect. I love it. Love it. So you all know I talk about the stress club, which is that place where we feel like we're going to get honor and validation from suffering and being stressed. And we want you to live in a world, especially during the holidays, where yes, it's going to be busy and there's a lot to do. And we can also make intentional choices to feel peace and joy and all the things. So don't let the world rob you of the joy. Get the downloads, answer the trivia questions. Please rate and review the podcast wherever you listen. We still are giving mugs away for that. And follow us on all our social media. It's all in the show notes. Is that it?
I think that's it.
Okay. Well then, until we see you next time, consider
Yourself hugged.
hugged. Bye.